I just wanted to record something about why I've recorded videos, like video blogs, and I guess I'm not reading anything, so I don't need my reading glasses. And basically, almost sort of like a journal, I guess. And um, as I've gotten older and you know, in the adult world, I um, I just well, for one thing, I'm very shy, and I don't know, I don't seem to um I work from home, and then I've done a few, activities, gym, going, like, met some people at the gym, but it's sort of like someone has to be like really extroverted and open with, or like really, I don't know, either responsive or really interested in being friends with me to be able for me to feel comfortable, um like being a good close friend kind of a thing. And I guess I'm really picky about who I well, picky in some ways. In some ways in the past it's been, I don't know, it just kind of naturally happened. But I sort of feel disconnected from the rest of the world as it is. And I don't know. So there's that. And also, just to basically, um, I eventually wanted to get into creating content. I don't know. It's just so weird to call it content. Like, well, at the moment, it's not content. It's content is like, valuable, helpful information. And like someone's on a YouTube video where they're like explaining something with how to help people with something. And like, um, I'm trying to build up confidence to be able to do that someday. But for some reason, it takes me a lot of effort and energy to try to do that, even though I like I can explain like how to do something, or teach someone how to, or whatever, or give a perspective on something that maybe somebody hadn't looked at before and might find interesting, or they might um you know expand their horizons of thinking about ways of thinking about things, or something like that. I don't know. I really don't have like, you know, uh, an actual agenda with this at the moment. Um, it's just been a sort of like an outlet for me to, um, both my parents have passed away. Um, I was adopted as a baby. I, I'm not. I've met my birth family, but we're not close, and um, I'm not in contact with them really anymore. Because I didn't grow up with them and stuff. I grew up as an only child. Um, um, I've had lots of people, come and go in my life that um, did help me a lot, and are very helpful and good people, or I, learned or gained something from the friendship or relationship. I've only ever had one, two, two, three, four, five, I guess, kind of serious relationships. Like two, well, I guess three. Two of them were like super long relationships ish. And one of them was just like a 2 year, I don't know, we were living together, and I don't know, but I found out he was a criminal, and like he, all this, I stayed with him probably, 6 months after that, trying to help him handle his stuff, but it just never changed. And then I was, single for like 5 years in my 20s, and then, holding out for the right person. Couldn't find anyone in LA. Most guys just wanted to clap cheeks and, or whatever. Like they just weren't interested in me like that. And I didn't fit the bill. And so then I roamed the country a little bit, and met up with my ex-husband in Denver, and that was like a 10-year thing. Didn't work out. We had two beautiful children, but that it was long overdue for, it wasn't right from the beginning anyway. But I was a bit vulnerable to, I guess, being wooed in the beginning, because I had been single for so long and was like starting to get into my 30s. I'm like, why hasn't it happened yet? Is that ever gonna happen for me? Am I ever gonna have a family? I'm getting old. Like most of the people I knew, or some people I knew anyway, were already like married with kids and stuff. And I just sort of felt like the ugly duckling, or like the odd one out, or I don't know. I've always kind of felt that way. And so, yeah, so then very shortly after that fell apart, I reconnected with an old flame. Well, sort of like old. Reconnected with somebody quite unintentionally, fell into a thing. And then in each of those two relationships, I felt myself like being drawn away from other people. And now I'm in a place where I really like where I live in North Oxnard. It's and the sun comes out, and I love, love, love living near the beach. There are a few the weather here is so nice, and I love being able to just like drive 10 minutes, and if I need to get some fresh air, I can just put my feet in the sand and listen to the waves, and it's just so calming and relaxing. And so but yeah, when I divorced, I it was a long, long process of like a year and a half. We were like still living in the same house but separated, and sleeping in separate beds, but it was still really emotionally traumatic a lot of the time, and it was just awful. And I guess maybe like whatever. It makes no difference, and there's no point in ruminating or speculating on anything. So I don't have any attention on it anymore. It was, it's a shame that it didn't. Not that I would ever want it again, but you know, in that situation. But I mean, I just mean it's a shame that like it then ended out so to turn out like that. So in a different way. But yeah, so I had to I was working at the kids' school for a while. I regretted that I had to pull them out of that school because it was a private school and they were doing really well there and they really enjoyed it. Anyway, I had to get another job. I did. It was a construction company. They started losing some jobs and then had to downsize, and then I lost my job and I was like, oh my God. And then I started doing a bit of remote work for my then partner. But I quickly realized, like, I've got to move out of this big house because it was like this. It was gorgeous, though. It was like I loved it there so much. The kids were so happy there. That is one of the sad consequences of, having to, you know. But for the longest time, I really wanted to get out of that situation because it was so traumatizing, horrible. But I felt like I couldn't for a really long time, even though I knew I needed to, but I was financially dependent on my ex-husband because I was staying at home with the kids and homeschooling for a lot of those years. And I didn't know how I would make it. But here I am. Sort of. Is this real? Am I still here? So, anyway, I was doing photography and, that was sort of like another way for me to connect with people. Like there was a lot of people in my community that I would do shoots for, and I had quite a few friends that I would like meet up with. There was always like some kid's birthday party on the weekend, and that was like a chance for, the moms and the parents to like get together and hang out, and there were barbecues and there were and stuff like that, And then so anyway, I had to move out of that house. That big is like this big 5-bedroom house. It was glorious. It had a spa in the back and nice backyard and a trampoline, and the kids were just so gloriously happy there. But unfortunately, they were, I didn't want them affected by the unhappiness that was between their dad and I. And I didn't want that to affect them anymore. So even though I had gotten to a point where I could sort of tolerate things and just sort of go through the motions and believed that there would never be anything better for me. And it was just going to be like that. And I would never know when the next you know, big upset thing and would happen, and I'd be you know, given insults and like just completely, it was just horrible. um I'd never know when that was going to happen again, and so I was always sort of living in fear of it becoming some sort of traumatic thing again. Anyway, but it had sort of like dissipated a little bit. Um, but yeah, then it got to a point where it started up again, and um, I told him he should just go off and do his counseling full time. Just you know, go go do that, and so he did, and so there was a period of about, I don't know, 7 or 9 months where he was pretty much gone all the time, like 24/7, and I would see him for a little bit on Saturdays or something like that, and kids didn't see him that often, but he was doing his thing, and anyway, a few months after that, we took a couple trips, and anyway, it just fell apart again, and anyway, but I felt at the time I hid most of it from my friends and from people, and I didn't talk about it with people. I portrayed myself to be, happy online and like, look at us, look at our family, isn't it great? Everything's great. Here's some pictures of us together, and it was all just fake, and I felt like I was almost sort of like living a double life. Like, who am I? Like, people seem to think that, everything is fine, but it's not. But I have to just go along with it anyway, just shut up and pretend like everything is fine anyway, and lock it all inside and just lie, basically. And I didn't like that. I didn't like that. I didn't like the after effect of like then having to explain later. I'm realizing this now, like, I didn't want to have to explain later, oh, actually, no, here's what really happened, here's how it really was, here's like, all that fake shit online. It was all fake. It was all, I mean, yes, I was trying to create on the family and like create, like, have fun memories together and like create the home and like make it all, like I was saying, going through the motions of it all, like make nice meals and like pay the bills and like handle, that stuff, and do all the like maintaining the house and, you know, the education for the kids and like um, all of that stuff. Um, taking care of all of it, like the laundry, you know, just like on and on and on, and doing the grocery shopping and doing the, um, and then being having to manage other people's emotions, having to, yeah, sometimes I would lose my cool, but like for the most part, having to really like coach other people through their, negative emotions or something like that. And, um, and trying to like get them to pop out of it or whatever. Anyway, Um, so yeah. So then, like I was saying, I moved. I had to move, and my then partner, who we were sort of like on and off, um, on again, off again, kind of a thing. But he came out to help me move, um, and it was a huge deal. I mean, like huge. I mean, a full house of like 5 bedrooms, huge, packed double garage, just full of stuff that had been collecting over the years with the kids and with just everything. It was just crazy. Anyway, it took, I don't know, a few days to get everything moved. I found a little place. I decided to look up north a little bit from where we were, but it was basically about an hour's drive or like 50 minutes. And I decided to do that rather than go look somewhere in LA because I thought it would be a better environment for the kids. And I thought that, being around so much nature and um, so on, like, that'd be great. Like we could build a life out there. Um, and it was really pretty. It had its upsides and downsides, but anyway, um, so skip forward a bit, and I finally realized like I can't live so far away from civilization anymore. Like this is crazy. Like I had sunk into a really heavy kind of depression, feeling so alone out there. Um and then, there were a couple time periods where my then partner, was like, I am coming out, I'm not coming out, I'm not coming out anymore. And, F you kind of a thing, like, bye. And so I was like, okay. Um, so anyway, I wasn't very happy out there. So I decided that I would like to progress again on my own self-development journey, and decided to contact a couple people in Ventura, which that I knew of, and I was going to move into a place with them, and then that kind of fell through. It like basically like it was turned out to be not the thing. And then I thought, okay, well, the kids seemed really, because had told them we were like about to move in there, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh no, someone else is getting the room or whatever. So I was like, okay. So then the kids seemed really excited about living close to the beach. So, and I was as well. So, I've been wanting to be close to the beach for a long time, actually. And so we did it, and I found a place, North Oxnard, and it was, the ideal situation. So then um, we ended up moving in, like, I think May of 2022. But yeah, so there you go. But I just, during that whole time I was away, was during the pandemic and during um, a lot of change was going on with a lot of people. And so a lot of people actually moved away, moved out of state. And I've kind of lost touch with people that I once knew for the most part. And so anyway, I find it kind of hard to rebuild that as an adult, like by myself. So for the most part, I just work, and I am working on my own self-development to get better at a lot of things and increase my all of it. So there you go.